Imagine for a moment that the penny sitting at the bottom of your junk drawer, the one you thought was worth almost nothing, could actually hold the key to a life-changing fortune, because in 1971 at the Denver Mint something extraordinary happened. A penny rolled off the press, one that today is shocking collectors, shaking auctions, and rewriting the idea of what spare change can really mean. And here's the kicker. That penny, the 1971 D Memorial Lincoln cent, looks so ordinary that most people have already spent theirs without a second thought. But for the few who've recognized its hidden value, they've discovered a ticket worth nearly $1 million, $971, 000 to be exact. Now let me ask you, have you ever handed a penny to a cashier or tossed one into a tip jar without looking twice? What if that 1 cent was secretly worth a mansion, a luxury car, or the kind of retirement that generations dream about? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn exactly why this coin exists, what makes it unimaginably rare, and how you could be sitting on the fortune of your lifetime without even realizing it. To understand why a penny could command nearly $1 million, we need to travel back to 1971. The U.S. Mint was running at full speed, pumping out billions of Lincoln Memorial cents. To the naked eye, these pennies were identical. But deep within the minting process, tiny errors occurred. Missdruck dies. Off-centered designs, doubled features, and sometimes, those microscopic mistakes turned a penny into a once-in-a-century rarity. Collectors hunt for these flaws with almost obsessive devotion, because a coin with a story is a coin with power. Here's where it gets thrilling. One 1971 D penny, verified under expert grading, revealed such a rare strike error that it exploded in value. At auction, it reached a staggering $971,000. Think about that, a coin worth 1 cent transforming into a near $1 million asset. Now, before we go deeper, let me break the tension with a quick thought. If you're like me, you're probably asking, why couldn't I find this coin in my spare change instead of another sticky quarter from the car cup holder? It almost feels like the mint was playing hide and seek with our wallets. But back to the serious truth. The 1971 D penny is more than just currency. It's a symbol of overlooked wealth. It's proof that treasures hide in plain sight, waiting for the person wise enough to recognize them. Transition to urgency. Here's the part that should keep you up tonight. Most people in the United States have touched a 1971 D penny at some point in their life. Billions were struck. Yet only a few contain the error that makes them priceless. Which means the chance that you already had one, and let it slip through your fingers, is frighteningly real. So where does that leave you? It leaves you with a choice. You could ignore this, shrug, and keep tossing pennies into jars like the rest of the world. Or you could do what the wealthiest collectors do. Inspect, research, question every coin in your possession as if it's hiding a secret. Because the truth is, some of them are. Imagine selling a coin for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Imagine the security it would give you, the freedom, the legacy. The opportunity is real, but the window is closing, because once these rare pennies are found, they're gone forever. Now, here's a cliffhanger for you. In the next video, I'm going to reveal a different penny, another Lincoln cent, that looks even more ordinary than the 1971 D. But its auction record will make your jaw drop even lower. Miss that, and you could miss the most valuable penny story of them all. Until then, here's your mission. Tonight, go through your change, your piggy banks, the dusty jar on your dresser. Look at every 1971 D penny you can find. That small act could be the decision that changes your financial destiny. Because sometimes, the difference between 1 cent and $971, 000, is just the courage to look closer. What if I told you that sitting quietly in an old drawer, a coin jar, or even in your childhood piggy bank could be a ticket to nearly $1 million? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But here's the truth. The 1974 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny, an ordinary-looking coin, has stunned collectors with a current market value soaring to $974,000. Pause. Think about that. Penny. That could almost buy you a mansion or pay off every debt you've ever had. And here's the twist. Most people who have owned this coin never even realized it. They spent it on gum, coffee, or maybe dropped it into a vending machine. Imagine the fear of knowing you could have held $1 million fortune in your hand, and let it slip away forever. But don't worry. Today I'm going to reveal exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and what steps you need to take before it disappears from circulation for good. Quick question. When was the last time you even looked closely at a penny? Seriously, who does that anymore? That's why opportunities like this pass us by. We overlook them. But after this video, you will never look at spare change the same way again. Let's start with the story. In 1974, millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies were minted. But not all were created equal. The Philadelphia Mint released coins without a mint mark, and hidden among them were a few rare varieties, so unique that collectors consider them priceless. Here's where the stakes rise. Most of these pennies were made from a bronze alloy, but experimental strikes, slight variations, and pristine condition examples transformed a handful of these coins into national treasures. Picture this. An everyday person just like you finds a 1974 penny tucked away in an old coin jar. They think, it's just 1 cent. Then they bring it to an appraiser. The appraiser looks twice, pulls out a magnifier, and suddenly their jaw drops. What was thought to be a worthless coin is now valued close to $1 million. Now let's get specific. The 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in top-graded condition has commanded breathtaking prices at auction. Collectors are fighting for it because it represents not just history but rarity. Scarcity drives value, and this penny is disappearing fast. And here's a pattern interrupt for you. Isn't it funny that the same coin we toss in a fountain to make a wish could instead grant us a wish worth almost $1 million? Who knew the universe had such a sense of humor? Now, let's shift. You may be asking, okay, but how do I know if I have the right coin? Great question. That's where attention to detail matters. Look at the year 1974. No mint mark under the date. Examine the condition. The sharper the features of Lincoln's profile, the clearer the lettering, the higher the grade, the higher the value. Even a small scratch can reduce the price, but a flawless piece skyrockets. But here's the cliffhanger. There's one feature, often overlooked, that could be the difference between a penny worth a cent and a penny worth $974,000. I'll reveal that in just a moment. So what's the secret detail? It's the strike quality. Coins with a sharp, bold strike, where every line in Lincoln's hair and the steps of the memorial are fully visible, are the ones auction houses crave. These are the coins that transform into six-figure treasures. Now let me put this into perspective. If you had this penny in your hand right now, you would be holding almost $1 million in the smallest, most ordinary disguise possible. That's the magic of numismatics, ordinary objects becoming extraordinary wealth. And here's where urgency comes in. Every year that passes, fewer of these coins remain in circulation. Collectors scoop them up, lock them in safes, and they vanish from public reach. If you wait too long to check your pennies, you may never get another chance. So I ask you this. Do you want to keep letting opportunity slip through your fingers? Or do you want to claim what's rightfully yours? Imagine paying off your mortgage, traveling the world, securing your children's future. All because you paid attention to the smallest coin in your pocket. That's not just luck. That's awareness, preparation, and action. And here's a final humorous thought to break the tension. Next time someone tells you a penny for your thoughts, just smile and think, only if it's from 1974. So here's what you need to do. Tonight, go through every coin jar, every drawer, every hidden stash of pennies you've ignored for years. Look for that 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. If you find one in brilliant condition, you could be holding a $974,000 fortune. Because in the end, life doesn't always hand us million-dollar checks. Sometimes it hides them in the palm of your hand, in the form of a single, forgotten penny. Imagine walking into your kitchen, reaching into that dusty jar of pennies, and pulling out a coin so rare, so extraordinary, that it could rewrite your entire financial future. Now imagine that coin being the 1975 Lincoln Memorial penny without a mint mark. Not just worth a few cents, not just worth a few hundred, but brace yourself. Its current market value is standing at a staggering $975,000. Almost $1 million for one penny. Yes, you heard me right. A coin most people would toss aside without a second thought could secretly hold the key to a new life of wealth and freedom. But here's the catch. This isn't just any 1975 penny. Only a handful exist, and they are hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows exactly what to look for. Could that someone be you? Stay with me because in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly why this penny is shaking the coin collecting world, and how you might already have one sitting in your home right now. Let's start with the history point. 1975 was a year of transition. The United States Mint was preparing for the nation's bicentennial celebrations. Millions of coins were being struck across Philadelphia and Denver with their tiny mint marks, those little letters under the date that identify where the coin came from. But then, an anomaly slipped through the cracks. Some 1975 pennies left the mint without a mark at all.
No, D.
No as nothing. Just the year 1975 staring back at you, clean and bare. Now here's where the story gets fascinating. Most collectors overlooked these coins for years. They seemed ordinary, unremarkable, just one more copper piece in the ocean of billions. But slowly rumors started, whispers in the collecting community. And then the truth emerged. These no-mint mark 1975 pennies weren't mistakes to ignore. They were treasures to be protected. Why so valuable? Because rarity is everything in the coin world. Out of billions of pennies, only a few of these survivors exist. Combine that with their pristine condition, bright luster, sharp detail, no signs of wear, and suddenly we're talking about a market price that hits nearly $1 million. Think about that. A coin worth 1 cent being auctioned for more than the average home in America. That's not just history. It's life-changing wealth hiding in your pocket. And here's the moment you need to hear. People are already cashing in. Collectors have seen record-breaking sales. Families have discovered fortunes hiding in drawers and change jars. And every day you wait, another coin disappears into a private collection, never to return to the open market. And let's be honest for a second. How many times have you brushed off a penny on the ground? Maybe even stepped on it and kept walking. Imagine stepping on $1 million because you thought it wasn't worth the effort to bend down. Crazy, right? So next time, maybe bend down. That penny might just be your retirement plan. Now let's bring this home. What should you do right now? First, check your coins. Focus on the date. 1975. Look closely beneath the year. If you see no mint mark, don't assume it's worthless. Instead, protect it. Place it in a coin holder. Avoid touching the surface. And then, reach out to a reputable coin dealer or auction house for authentication. But here's the urgency. This market is heating up. Investors and collectors are battling for the few surviving 1975 no-mint mark pennies, pushing the price higher with every sale. Today, it's $975,000. Tomorrow, who knows? Maybe $1 million, maybe more. So the question becomes, will you be the person who lets that penny slip through your fingers? Or will you be the one who seizes the opportunity of a lifetime? Imagine paying off your home, funding your children's future, retiring earlier than you ever dreamed possible. All from a single coin most people never even notice. That's the power of knowing what to look for. That's the secret wealth hiding in plain sight. So go ahead. Search those jars, those drawers, even the coins in your wallet right now. Because the next 1975 no-mint mark penny could belong to you. And when you hold it, when you realize you're holding nearly $1 million in the palm of your hand, remember this moment. Remember that you were the one who chose to look closer. Because sometimes, the smallest things in life carry the greatest fortune. Imagine this. You're holding what looks like just another copper penny in your palm. It's old, scratched, maybe even forgotten at the bottom of a drawer. But what if I told you that little coin could secretly be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, I'm talking about the 1976 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent penny with no mint mark. A coin so rare and so overlooked that collectors today are willing to pay as high as $976,000 for one in pristine condition. Now pause for a second. Think about the sheer possibility. Right now, without knowing it, you or someone you love could have a life-changing treasure hiding in a coffee can, a piggy bank, or tucked away in a family heirloom jar of coins. And here's the kicker. Most people throw these coins away, not realizing their hidden value. That's the nightmare scenario. That's the fear that keeps seasoned collectors awake at night. Missing out on fortune simply because we didn't know what to look for. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the truth about this penny. I'll show you why this specific coin is one of the most extraordinary opportunities in American numismatics. And more importantly, how you can discover if you're sitting on a jackpot without even knowing it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, you need to understand the story. The year is 1976. America is celebrating its bicentennial, 200 years of independence. Fireworks lit up the skies, patriotism filled the air, and millions of coins were minted to honor the moment. But here's the twist. While quarters, half dollars, and dollars got special bicentennial designs, the humble penny remained the same. The Lincoln Memorial reverse was still there. Ordinary,
Familiar.
unchanged. And yet, something extraordinary happened. Some pennies struck that year were minted without any mint mark. No D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Just a blank space under Lincoln's date. At first glance, it seems like nothing. Just an error. But in the world of coin collecting, rarity plus historical timing equals fortune. That's why a 1976 penny with no mint mark in pristine, uncirculated condition skyrocketed in value. Let me put this into perspective. Imagine buying a lottery ticket that never expires. That's what this coin represents. A random chance from decades ago suddenly transforms into a life-altering win today. And here's the fear factor. Every single day, countless people unknowingly spend or discard these coins at face value. That's a tragedy in plain sight, the kind of loss you don't realize until it's too late. But here's where it gets exciting. Some collectors are actively hunting for this penny. Auctions have seen prices soar to hundreds of thousands, and one recent example has reached $976,000 on today's market. Yes, a single cent worth almost $1 million. Have you checked your change lately? Because if you haven't, you might be missing out on the greatest financial opportunity of your lifetime. So how do you know if your penny is the jackpot? Here's the roadmap. First, look at the date, 1976. Then carefully inspect the area just below it. If there's no mint mark, you've got something special. But condition matters. A coin in poor shape may only be worth a few dollars. A coin preserved in near-perfect condition? That's where we cross into six-figure and even seven-figure territory. Second, have it authenticated. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can determine the true grade and rarity. This step is critical. Without it, your penny is just a guess. With it, your penny becomes a certified asset. Third, once certified, you're in a position of power. Collectors, dealers, and auction houses will line up. And remember this, the demand for rare U.S. coins is stronger than ever. Wealthy investors see them not just as collectibles, but as hedges against inflation, symbols of history, and status icons. Now let's reset for a moment. Humor me. Isn't it crazy that people will pay millions for a piece of digital art called an NFT, but overlook a physical coin that survived America's bicentennial? Talk about irony. But here's where you come in. If you want to live a wealthy lifestyle, if you want to turn forgotten pocket change into real financial freedom, this is your call to action. Don't let this story be one of missed opportunity. Don't be the person who discovers too late that they spent $1 million penny on a gumball machine. Instead, be the one who takes action. Check your coins. Ask family members. Dig into those jars and boxes, because the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is out there. And it could be yours. The clock is ticking. The opportunity is rare. And the reward? Life-changing. So I'll leave you with this cliffhanger. Somewhere in America, right now, someone is holding this penny and doesn't even know it. The only question is, will it be you who discovers it before it's too late? Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins, just loose change, forgotten for decades, and inside rests a single penny that could change your entire life. Not a dollar, not a 50, but a single copper cent. And here's the shocking truth. One particular 1977 Lincoln Memorial cent, with no mint mark, is selling for an astonishing $977,000 in today's market. Yes, you heard that right. A penny. Less than the cost of a piece of gum. carrying the potential of a luxury home, a sports car, or a lifetime of financial freedom. Now, before you dismiss this as another too-good-to-be-true story, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually checked the coins sitting in your wallet or hiding in your dresser drawer? Because if you haven't, you may already be living with a fortune disguised as pocket change. Stick with me until the end of this video, because not only will I reveal why this 1,977 penny is so rare, I'll also share the exact signs to look for, the mistakes collectors make that could cost them millions, and how to turn a forgotten cent into a life-changing payday. But here's the catch. If you click away now, you might never realize the treasure already in your hands. Let's step back. It's 1977. America is celebrating its 201st year. Gasoline costs less than $1. Star Wars has just exploded into theaters, and millions of Lincoln Memorial cents are flowing out of the U.S. Mint. But here's where it gets interesting. While most pennies of that year carried a small mint mark under the date, a tiny letter like D for Denver or S for San Francisco, some emerged with no mint mark at all. At first glance, they look ordinary. But in the world of coin collecting, that tiny absence can mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth nearly $1 million. Why? Because mint marks act like signatures. They tell you where a coin was born. When one is missing and the coin is otherwise pristine, it becomes an error so rare that collectors will pay life-changing sums just to own it. Here's the emotional punch. Most people who ever held one of these 1977 no mint mark cents probably spent it without thinking. Maybe it was used to buy a newspaper. Maybe it fell between couch cushions and was vacuumed up decades ago. Just imagine, $1 million penny vanishing forever. Now, humor break. Have you ever been so broke you checked between the cushions for spare change? Well, now you have a new reason to dive headfirst into the sofa. Who knew wealth was hiding under popcorn kernels and lost TV remotes? Back to business. The current documented market value for the 1977 no mint mark Lincoln cent, in pristine condition, stands at $977,000. That's not speculation. That's not hype. That's the price serious collectors are prepared to pay. And if you think only one or two exist, think again. The truth is, there may be dozens still out there, sitting in jars, drawers, and coffee cans across the country. The question is, will you be the one to find it? Or will you let someone else stumble upon your fortune? Here's the urgency. Rare coins don't wait around. Every day, collectors are scouring eBay, estate sales, and bankrolls. Each passing year, fewer 1977 no mint mark pennies remain in circulation, which means the window of opportunity is closing. So what should you do right now? First, grab every jar of coins you own. Search through each penny minted in 1977. Look under the date. If there's no tiny mint mark, and the coin appears crisp, clean, and free of scratches, you might be staring at a fortune. Second, never assume. Even coins with slight wear can still be worth thousands. Only a proper grading by a professional service will confirm the true value. And third, act fast. If you find one, don't rush to spend it or toss it aside. Treat it as the rare artifact it is, because a single decision could be the difference between pocket change and a new lifestyle. Now let me leave you with this thought. People dream of winning the lottery. They buy tickets every week, praying for a miracle. But what if your miracle is already sitting in your home? What if you've been overlooking wealth every time you jingled your pocket? The 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just metal. It's proof that opportunity hides in plain sight, but only for those willing to look closely. So ask yourself, tonight, when you empty your pockets, will you discover just another penny or the key to a brand new life? Don't let hesitation rob you of the chance to change your story. Start searching, because your $1 million penny may already be waiting. Imagine this. You're holding a penny in your hand. Ordinary, copper-colored, almost forgettable. But what if I told you that one single penny, a 1982 Lincoln Memorial cent with a D mint mark, could be worth nearly $1 million today? That's right, a coin most people would never look at twice, has a current market value of $982,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? And yet, collectors and dealers across the United States are hunting for this exact coin right now. The question is, Do you have one hiding in a jar, an old wallet, or tucked away in your childhood coin collection? Stay with me because in the next few minutes you'll not only learn why this coin is so special, but you'll also discover how to recognize if your penny is the one that could change your life forever. But before we dive in, let me ask you something. Have you ever thrown a penny on the ground, thinking it was worthless? If so, you might have literally tossed away a fortune. Painful thought, isn't it? Let's rewind to 1982. Something monumental was happening in the world of American coinage. For over a century, pennies were made mostly of copper. But in 1982, the U.S. Mint made a drastic change. Copper prices were rising, and it became more expensive to make the coin than the coin was worth. So, the Mint switched to zinc pennies with only a thin copper coating. Here's the twist. That year, both copper and zinc pennies were struck, and they look almost identical. To the naked eye, you'd never know which was which. That's where the treasure hunt begins. Now, here's where it gets even more exciting. Within those 1982 coins, the Denver Mint produced a rare variety that became legendary among collectors. A small error, a variation in weight, and the confusion between copper and zinc created a perfect storm. That storm gave birth to one of the most valuable modern pennies in existence. And today, the 1982 D. Lincoln penny has been auctioned for jaw-dropping prices, with the rarest examples fetching upwards of $982,000. Think about that. Something you might find at the bottom of your couch cushions could buy you a dream home, pay off every debt, or secure a future of financial freedom. But hold on. Before you rush off to dig through your coin jars, let me warn you. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth nearly $1 million lies in the smallest of details. If you miss them, you might sell your coin for pennies instead of fortune. How can you tell if your 1982 D penny is the jackpot coin? Well, let's pull back the curtain. First, check the date. You're looking for 1982, with a small D mint mark under the year. Now here's the secret, the weight. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc pennies weigh about 2.5 grams. That tiny difference is the golden ticket. If you've got a scale, weigh your penny. If it lands on that rare crossover, congratulations, you may just be holding a life-changing fortune. But here's where most people fail. They assume every 1982 D penny is valuable, and dealers take advantage of that. In truth, only the rare error varieties command astronomical values. That's why education is power. Without it, you risk leaving thousands, even hundreds of thousands, on the table. And let's be real. How many times have you dreamed of that one lucky break? The escape from financial stress. The freedom to live life on your own terms. For some, the 1982 D penny has been exactly that. A single coin that unlocked generational wealth. Now, I want you to pause and think. What if your coin jar, your grandfather's collection, or that forgotten box in the attic is holding a piece of history worth almost $1 million? Would you check tonight? Or would you wait, only to regret it later when someone else strikes gold? Don't let hesitation be the reason opportunity slips through your fingers. Closing cliffhanger in a moment, I'll tell you exactly how to safely sell one of these coins, and the pitfalls to avoid so you don't get cheated. But before I do, ask yourself one final question: that if a single penny can be worth nearly $1 million, what other treasures might be hiding in plain sight right under your nose? Imagine holding a single penny in your hand, something so ordinary, so unremarkable, that most people wouldn't bend down to pick it up from the sidewalk. Now, imagine that exact penny being worth nearly $1 million. Yes, you heard me correctly. 1 cent turned into $991,000, and perhaps even more as collectors battle for it at auctions. Here's the truth. Tucked away in old jars, dresser drawers, and forgotten coffee cans across America, rare 1991 Lincoln pennies without a mint mark are quietly waiting. And if you own one, it could change your financial destiny forever. But before you rush to check your spare change, let me warn you, not every 1991 penny is valuable. The key lies in its story, its rarity, and a hidden detail that separates a simple coin from a life-changing treasure. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly why collectors are paying small fortunes for these coins, how to know if you have one, and the step you must take before selling it. By the end, you'll see your everyday pocket change in a way you never imagined. And let's be honest, when was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Probably never, unless it was to wonder why it still exists. But trust me, after this, you'll never ignore them again. Let's rewind to 1991. The Lincoln Memorial penny was in full circulation. Billions were struck. But here's the twist. Most coins were minted in Denver and Philadelphia, except for a tiny, rare batch. These rare coins, they came out of Philadelphia but lacked the mint mark entirely. No P.
No, D.
Nothing. Just Lincoln staring forward with silent authority. Now, you may wonder, why would missing a mint mark matter? Why would collectors lose their minds over something so small? Because in numismatics, the science of coin collecting, small errors create massive value. They're like misprints in a famous novel, rare quirks that make an ordinary object one of a kind. And when rarity meets demand, the value skyrockets. Here's the cliffhanger. In recent auctions, one of these 1991 no-mint mark pennies shocked experts when it sold close to $991,000. That's not a typo. That's the price of a luxury home, hidden inside a penny you could mistake for pocket change. Now, let's pause for a second. Think about it. Somewhere out there, in a shoebox, a piggy bank, or a forgotten coin collection, there could be another one waiting. Maybe in your home. Let me ask you this. How many pennies have you mindlessly tossed in the tip jar at a coffee shop? 10? 20? What if you gave away your $1 million ticket without even knowing it? That thought alone should make you check every coin you own. But here's the secret most people never learn. Spotting this treasure requires patience, precision, and the courage to look where others never bothered. So, how do you know if your 1991 penny is worth $991,000 or just 1 cent? Here's the test. First, examine the coin. Does it have a mint mark under the date? If there's a D for Denver or a faint P for Philadelphia, it's ordinary. But if there's no mark at all and the strike is crisp with sharp details, you could be holding the real deal. Second, check its condition. Collectors pay premiums for coins in pristine shape. Even a tiny scratch can affect the value. So if you suspect you have one, don't clean it. Don't rub it. Don't polish it. Handle it as if it were made of glass. Third, verify with a trusted numismatic expert. This step is crucial. Only professional grading can confirm whether your penny is one of the ultra-rare, high-value varieties. Skip this and you risk underselling your fortune. Now, here's the emotional truth. These pennies aren't just about money. They're about possibility, about hidden wealth disguised in the everyday. They remind us that opportunities often lie right under our noses, ignored, overlooked, waiting for someone with the eyes to see them. So the question is, when you check your pennies tonight, will you discover the fortune everyone else overlooked? Or will you keep walking past wealth, just like the millions before you? If you're serious about transforming forgotten change into lasting wealth, the time to act is now. Coins like the 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny don't just tell history, they make history for the people who find them. So go check your jars. Go through those boxes in the attic. Because somewhere, a simple penny might be holding the power to rewrite your financial story forever. And remember, one penny can change everything. Imagine walking into your kitchen, tossing some loose change onto the counter, and one penny, just one ordinary-looking coin, could secretly be worth nearly $1 million. Yes, a penny. A simple 1 cent right now, hidden inside pockets, drawers, and old coin jars across America. There are 1992 Lincoln Memorial pennies with no mint mark, and one of them just sold for a staggering $992,000. Let me ask you something. Have you ever ignored the pennies lying around your house? Maybe even swept them into a jar thinking they're worthless? What if I told you one of those forgotten coins could pay off your mortgage, buy you your dream car, and rewrite your financial story forever? But here's the twist. Only a handful of people even know what to look for. That's what we're diving into today. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so rare, how to identify if you own one, and how to sell it for life-changing wealth. Let's start with the basics. The 1992 Lincoln penny, minted in Philadelphia, normally carries a small mint mark under the year. But in some rare cases, coins were struck without it. No D, no S, no P, nothing. Just a clean date. At first glance, it looks like any other penny. But the missing mint mark transforms it from pocket change into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Now here's the kicker. Out of billions of pennies produced in 1992, only a whisper of these no mint mark coins exist. Think of it like this. Imagine a massive stadium filled with pennies. Somewhere in that sea of copper, only a few coins are the golden tickets. Collectors fight over them, auctions erupt into bidding wars, and one coin recently shattered expectations by selling $4,992,000. Let that number sink in. That's nearly $1 million for a penny. But before you rush to check your change, pause for a moment. Because this story isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity, the kind that hides in plain sight. How many times in life do we ignore what looks ordinary, only to discover later it was extraordinary? And here's the suspense. Some of these coins are still out there, sitting quietly in wallets, in piggy banks, maybe even in your home. The question is, do you have one? So, how do you know if your 1992 penny is the $1 million miracle? First, check the date. Look closely under the year. If there's no mint mark at all, you might be holding a fortune. But here's where it gets intense. Many counterfeit coins flood the market, and grading companies are strict. If you think you have one, don't just toss it on eBay. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service. Because if it's real, your financial life changes overnight. Now, let me ask you a funny question. How many times have you stepped over a penny on the street, thinking, it's just a cent? Next time, maybe bend down. That penny could be worth more than your car. Here's the urgency. Every day, collectors are hunting, dealers are buying, and prices are climbing. The longer you wait, the harder it may be to cash in. So, tonight, dig through your drawers. Tomorrow, check your piggy banks. And when you find that 1992 no mint mark penny, treat it like the treasure it is. Because wealth isn't always hidden in gold bars or lottery tickets. Sometimes, it's hiding in the change you've carried your whole life. And here's the real secret. If the 1992 no mint mark penny is worth nearly $1 million, wait until you hear about the other coins hiding in plain sight that can be worth even more. That's a story for the next video. So what's stopping you? The next coin millionaire could be you. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary, so plain, that you've probably brushed it off 100 times at the grocery store counter. Now imagine that same coin, sitting quietly in your pocket change, being worth nearly $1 million. Sounds impossible, right? Well, today we're diving into the story of the 1996 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, a coin that's turning everyday collectors into millionaires. But here's the catch. Most people never look closely enough. They toss it back into circulation, letting fortune slip right through their fingers. What if you've already done that? What if the wealth you've been searching for was right in your wallet all along? Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot one of these life-changing coins and what makes it so valuable. Let's step back. In 1996, billions of Lincoln Memorial cents were minted. Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, they all churned out these copper-plated zinc coins by the truckload. Nothing unusual, nothing rare, or so it seemed. But every once in a while, the mint makes a mistake. And those mistakes, those tiny anomalies invisible to the untrained eye, can transform a penny into a fortune. In the case of the 1996 penny, certain no-mint mark versions exist in pristine, uncirculated condition. These are the coins that collectors fight over at auction. These are the pennies now commanding jaw-dropping prices, up to $996,000 in today's market. Think about that for a moment. A single cent worth more than most homes in America. How does that happen? It's all about condition, rarity, and the fierce competition among high-end collectors. The 1996 no-mint mark penny, when preserved in mint state and free of even the smallest blemish, becomes almost mythical. Imagine two collectors locked in a bidding war, each desperate to own that one perfect coin. That's how records are shattered. And here's a question for you. How many times have you emptied your pocket change, dumped it into a jar, and thought, it's just pennies? Well, maybe you've been sitting on a small fortune without realizing it. Funny how life works, isn't it? The things we ignore often hold the greatest value. So here's the urgent truth. Coins like this don't wait. Markets shift. Collectors age. Prices can rise or they can vanish overnight. If you've ever dreamed of turning a forgotten drawer of coins into the life-changing wealth you've always wanted, this is your wake-up call. Take the time to check your 1996 pennies. Look for the ones without a mint mark. Examine their condition carefully. If you're unsure, get them graded professionally. Because here's the cliffhanger. Right now, one of these coins sits in a private collection, valued at nearly $1 million. But others are still out there, unfound, waiting, and one of them might be in your home right now. The difference between tossing it aside and recognizing its true worth could be the difference between an ordinary life and a wealthy one. So ask yourself, are you ready to uncover the treasure hidden in plain sight, or will you let it slip away forever? If this video has opened your eyes to the hidden fortune inside a single penny, don't stop here. Subscribe, share this with a friend who hoards change, and most importantly, start searching. Because wealth doesn't always come from where you expect. Sometimes it's hiding in the palm of your hand. What if I told you that a single penny, a coin most people step over in a parking lot, could secretly be worth $207,000 today? Pause. Yes, you heard that right. A 2007 Lincoln Memorial penny, with no mint mark, has shaken the coin world and stunned collectors with its astronomical value. Now here's the chilling part. Millions of people have handled this exact type of penny. Some of them probably used it at a vending machine. Some may have tossed it into a jar without ever knowing its true worth. Imagine if one of those people was you. So the question is, do you have one of these life-changing pennies hiding in plain sight? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why collectors are paying fortunes for what appears to be an ordinary coin. First, let's strip away the myth. This is not just any 2007 Lincoln penny. It's a coin with a very specific story. Normally, pennies bear a mint mark, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, P for Philadelphia. But certain 2007 memorial cents were released with no mint mark at all. At first glance, they look identical to every other penny you've ever held. But the absence of that tiny mint mark transforms them into something far rarer. Rarity is what fuels value in the coin world. Collectors are obsessed with the 2007 no mint mark penny because it wasn't supposed to exist. It was likely the result of a striking error, an accident at the mint that slipped through quality control. Think about that. A mistake that most people wouldn't even notice, now commanding a six-figure price tag. And here's where the fear creeps in. Because if you've ever sorted through your change, or cleaned out an old piggy bank, or even inherited a jar of coins from a loved one, you could have overlooked a treasure worth more than your car, your mortgage, maybe even your retirement fund. Let me ask you this. How many times have you brushed off a penny as worthless? Be honest. That's your pattern. Interrupt. Because right now, that little coin may be holding the key to the wealthy lifestyle you've been dreaming of. But why would anyone pay $207,000 for a coin that says 1 cent? Because to serious collectors, it's not just copper and zinc. It's history, it's rarity, it's the thrill of owning something almost no one else on earth possesses. And the market is on fire. Over the past decade, demand for rare pennies has exploded. Investors see them as both a collectible and a hedge against uncertain financial times. Just last year, one of these 2007 no mint mark memorial pennies sold for an eye-popping $207,000 at auction. But here's the twist. Not every 2007 penny without a mint mark is worth that much. Condition is everything. If your coin has scratches, discoloration, or heavy wear, it won't reach those headline prices. But if it's crisp, sharp, and preserved, you might be holding a fortune. So, how do you know if you've got one of these miracle coins? Grab every 2007 penny you can find. Flip it over and look at the obverse side, right below the year. If you don't see a tiny mint mark letter, pause. You may be looking at the jackpot. Check the condition. Coins graded mint state or higher are the ones that command life-changing money. Get it authenticated. Don't rely on a friend, a pawn shop, or a quick online opinion. Only certified grading companies can unlock the true value of your coin. Now here's the urgency. These coins aren't just rare, they're getting rarer by the day. Every time one is discovered and locked into a private collection, That's one less chance for you to find one. And with values already climbing into the hundreds of thousands, waiting even a year could cost you a life-changing payday. Let's face it, most people will never stumble upon one of these coins because they don't take the time to look. But you're here right now. You're paying attention. And that gives you the edge. So ask yourself this: will you be the person who shrugs off the next penny you see? Or will you be the one who checks, discovers, and cashes in on a coin that could change your life forever? Because here's the thing. The 2007 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny isn't the only coin hiding massive value in your pocket change. There are others, sometimes worth even more. In our next video, I'll reveal another coin most Americans overlook, yet collectors are fighting to pay 6 or even 7 figures for. So check your pockets, check your jars, and check your heart, because the dream of wealth may already be in your hands.